This is season 2, episode 5, Dig Dug. Are you ready to play
title.
Dig Dug Toe?
Okay, question. If this was a Smallville episode, what do they call us? Do they call us Dig or Doug?
Dig.
Okay.
That would be the episode with Tyler Posey that we watched.
That's what they should have called it.
Wait, what is that episode called?
I don't remember.
I'll look after we start. All right. Get your timestamp to get timestamp 0 in 3, 2, 1, go.
So where do we start this episode? Oh my god, we're back in Hawkins. That is one thing I'm looking forward to in season 5, because we're in like 4 different locations in season 4. When we get to 5, it'll just be nice to have everyone back in one location again. We'll see how long they stick to that.
I just hope we get all the older kids working together for once.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they called it. Oh, all right. They called it Subterranean. That's so dumb.
What a terrible episode. Okay, now this is a bit. Do you buy that she has this many pieces of paper for drawing? I don't either. That stuff's expensive, and she's not a super wealthy character. Oh, I guess this would be a good time to mention that when I went to Universal Halloween Horror Nights in 2019, season 3 had just come out, but the Stranger Things maze was like primarily season 2 themed. But then they tacked on some season 3 stuff at the end, where you get like some of the monsters, and also outside in the park, like they had some set dressing to make one place look like Scoops Ahoy.
Oh.
So that was kind of fun. And yeah, for people who don't know, Universal, for the Halloween stuff, they're just mazes that you walk through that take like, a couple minutes, where you look at all these props and actors and stuff. I've gone a couple times. I'm not going this year, but the Stranger Things one, the first one was really good. And then I went again last year, and it was season 4 stuff. That maze wasn't nearly as good. Like, it was fine, but big step down. But the reason why I brought that up is in the maze, there's one part where they did a recreation of Joyce's house that you walk through, and it looks really cool. And they had a lady there playing Joyce, where she has the papers and is trying to match all of them and doing the map, or the, putting all of Will's pictures together. So that was a really cool part of the maze to walk through.
And now for the portion of the episode where they dumped water on Noah.
There's a guy behind the camera just a bucket. That's his job.
It was really impressive. They only got him to here.
Yeah, impeccable aim. Takes a lot of years to hone that craft. Man, I really like this Will and Mike stuff. And we just drop it. Okay, and this is where I'm like, okay, this is stupid. Even if, once Hopper is in the ground and knows he is in the Upside Down, why doesn't he just leave and go get backup? Get your cop friends and say, hey, I found a weird thing. Let's investigate this weird thing. It's very contrived and silly that he's just doing this rogue without telling anyone where he went. Like, it's one of the dumber parts of the season.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of forced drama and kind of stretching things out a bit, because we need Hopper in danger, and he's going to be in danger for a while. And
this season forcing drama? No. This is very alien.
Yes, it is. I like the atmosphere.
And he's dead.
Yes.
No, but I think this is where some of those plot armor complaints start to kick in is this is also nothing bad is going to happen. He just inhaled whatever that is.
Mm-hmm. Although we do have that happen to Dustin later, but he's wearing like a face mask and he freaks out and he's like, "Oh, okay." I think that's funny.
Is this the Dustin and Steve episode?
We should be there finally.
If it's not, we have to keep going.
that adds a lot of life back into this season.
But man, that first episode was so good.
It was. And again, that 2 had a lot of good stuff. But playing devil's advocate, like those spores that just went on Hopper's face, like the function was to knock him out, and then the vines are gonna overtake him. And yeah, it's convenient that there's no like lingering side effects or diseases. To be fair, Will was in the Upside Down for days or weeks, and was fine-ish. And everything we know wrong was when he was in that nest and that cocoon thing. So, you know, it's not a big deal. And like I said, this season is more flawed than season 1 for sure, but it has the same thing of most of my issues are in the middle. Like now it's kind of a grind to get through. Like, yeah, there is some padding.
Shut up, Nancy. Go home.
But they gotta find Murray. They gotta find the conspiracy theorist.
So he can push her into having sex with Jonathan?
That scene's weird and I don't like it.
That scene is awful. But I'm glad that the writers found a way to insert themselves into the script for a scene.
And again, I'm torn because it does again feel like, well, we're just doing this because that's what season 1 did. We gave Nancy and Jonathan an adventure, and now we got to do that again. But for me, it's worth it because if we had Steve here, then we don't get the Steve and Dustin stuff, and that's the best stuff of the season. So it wins.
But if Steve is here, this also probably becomes the best subplot of the season.
No, I disagree.
I think there is enough evidence that if you put Steve in a storyline, it becomes the best one.
But dude, they found magic when they paired him and Dustin together. Like those two work so well together. Like that's like the
contrived reason that he comes with him. I don't know.
No, but you get Steve and Dustin hunting a Demogorgon or a Demodog. It's great.
It is, but I also have to sit through this bullshit.
Like I said, this stuff works better for me if we had a proper breakup.
So she says she waited for him. So retroactively, we are saying she went back to Steve because she got tired of waiting for Jonathan.
I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but I buy it. Like, she's definitely waiting for Jonathan to make a move that he never does in season 1. Which, again, should fuel your anger to Nancy, a character I'm kind of indifferent toward.
But that's what I'm saying. It's this whole season retroactively just makes her to be an awful person.
I don't think it does. Like, her motivation, though, of going on this adventure to expose the story, to give Barb's parents closure, like, that all tracks for me. Like, that motivation is sound.
No matter who she has to hurt or throw under the bus?
Yeah. Not deliberately.
Or, apparently, she's just using people because she's not getting what she wants.
I get, dude, like, I get her motivation for wanting to give Barb's parents closure. That
And
has
I
a
get
strong
that.
foundation.
But that only takes you so far. At some point, you have to act like an adult.
She's a teenager.
But she's not like
it's right.
15 or
I buy it.
16. She's close to graduating.
That all tracks for me. Again, the payoff is worth it. My issue, as I've said over and over again, and I'm ready to move on, is we just should have had a proper breakup with her and Steve.
Okay, but you have to at least agree that a little bit. They kind of make it. They kind of throw Steve as like, oh, at the end of the day, he was just a consolation prize.
Kind of. Again, I'm not invested in that romance. Like, I can't feel the anger you have because I don't care about that romance.
Even if you don't care, like that is CW level writing, which this show has been above. I don't care if you're invested or not. But like that show is better than this. That's Smallville writing.
Yeah, a little bit. Hopper, I think you made a mistake. This is by far the dumbest Hopper gets this season. It's like, why did you do this?
I mean, where else is he gonna go though? Like, he can't get back up there.
No, I mean, like, he should be regretting. I assume he's regretting his action. I think this is clever. He's leaving some markers, but it's like, why did he go down the dark, scary tunnel? Once he realized it was the Upside Down, he should have left.
Oh my god, are you a French toast person?
Yes.
I could go for some French toast.
Yeah, me too. I always forget Erica's in this season just because she's in it so little. I like Lucas's parents. I wish we saw them a little more.
I wish we saw a lot of the parents more. Like, give them more screen time over the Wheelers.
Yeah, and again, with everyone back in Hawkins, like, I hope we get more of that in season 5. We'll see. Yeah, it's like, I like Erica as comic relief. I just don't need her as part of the main.
I also just don't think you need another comic relief. You have Dustin.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair, season, again, with the 100 characters it's balancing, season 4 does dial back the Erica stuff. They don't force her to be a main character. Like, she pops up when she needs to, but they don't overdo it with her. This stuff with Dustin's mom is so sad. I feel so bad for her.
Yeah.
Losing a pet sucks. Dustin, you are a liar. Also, his mom's kind of
an idiot. A little bit. I have trouble relating to people that act like this over a pet. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my pet, my cat. If the cat disappeared, I wouldn't fall to pieces.
Yeah, I would. Maybe not to this extent, but I get pretty attached to pets.
Like, I get attached. It's just like, I don't know. It's not my entire life, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, his mom definitely cares more about her cat than she cares about Dustin. This is a fact.
Where did he get all this baseball gear?
And hockey gear? He looks like a variant Ninja Turtles action figure.
I mean, most of that is baseball gear, and then he's just got a hockey stick. Yeah, see, like, he's naturally funny. You don't need another character that's comedy relief. Well, and it's even weirder, right? Because they put her with Dustin. So your two comic relief characters are together, which is never a good idea.
Yep. I also don't hate Erica. I want to make that clear. Like, she gets some funny scenes. I just don't hate her as a main character.
I don't hate her, but
there's too many characters.
I'm confused why she's there. Yeah, so much in season 3.
Mhm.
I should say I play up my hate for Jonathan. I don't hate any of them. He is my least favorite just because he's not very interesting after the first season.
Hmm. And they give him less and less to do. It's like the show needs big depth, and I think it should be Jonathan. And I'm speaking as someone who likes Jonathan, but somebody's got to go. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, like I like the stuff where he's forced to be an adult too soon. And we just kind of forget about that.
I like the stuff with Dustin a lot, where you see it becoming more brave.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
I'm
you ate
saying
my cat.
my cat. He's so good, dude. You are lucky that is not a pedophile.
Yep. Yeah, if you're a truck driver, you just don't pick up a kid. Call someone. This scene is weird too. It feels like something, right? Like, do they have like a camaraderie going? Like, it feels like something was cut.
Yeah.
It also feels a little like a Friday the 13th homage with the guy who picks up the girl in the opening. It's like, well, here the water was bad, like that guy. Like, it's kind of riffing on those types of scenes.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm gonna rewrite the season, I think you could have gotten here with 11 without the whole blow up falling out with Hopper. Like, just have her exploring and find the evidence that her mom is alive, and then realize, oh no, Hopper lied to me. Like, I'm gonna go see her. Because I like this stuff. The stuff with her and her mom is really good, but then it spirals into I gotta go find my sister, and that'll be a whole episode, and we'll get there. But the stuff with her and her mom works.
Yeah.
She looks terrifying in that shot. It's like, oh no, this is a monster. I want to see Mama.
Shut up, 11.
I like the scenes with her and her aunt a lot. I wish we brought her back. We kind of forget about this after season 2.
I mean, 11's arguably a different character after this season.
Mm-hmm.
Mama. So
And like
this
I said,
is arguably filler. Um, it's not terrible,
I
and
wouldn't call it filler.
some of this is retroactive. Do we
Like
need
what?
this in the long run? I mean, not this, but me thinking this.
This was in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
We had to check back in with this. Like, her mom is alive, and we don't have the full details of what happened with her. This is just fleshing that out and giving 11 the whole picture and some closure. Like, this stuff's good. What I don't like is that it's then used to springboard into, 11 has a sister, and she has to go find her sister, and then that's a whole episode. But like I said, I like the stuff with her and her mom.
Yeah. I think you mean her mama.
Mama.
And gasoline.
I do like some of the stuff with Murray here. I think Murray's better in 3. He gets a lot
Murray
of fun
is
stuff.
better in 3 when he's not just being a mouthpiece for the writers of the show.
Yeah. But I like that friendship he builds up with the Russian Alexei. That stuff's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, but again, he is a little eccentric. We are dialing that up just a bit this season, and then in season 3, it's this is a cartoon world now, and you're either in it, you're either with it, or you're not. I get why 3 is divisive.
Yeah.
But I do like this conspiracy angle, and I like that. I like the stuff that he's wrong about. He's not just a magic exposition character who knows everything because the plot needs to. It's like, no, he still thinks it's a bald Russian boy that's running around. It's like he has theories, but they're not all correct. And then Nancy and John are gonna help him, get the whole picture. Like this, when she talks about like, oh, like no, this is the order of how these things happened.
Nancy's also lucky at the end of this that they don't come for her family
But why would they?
because they don't want this to get out. That's what I'm going to start calling you, shitbird.
So you may have mentioned this up front. Did you ever get to? Did you have any arcades you got to go to growing up, or are you purely a console PC guy? You probably talked.
Yes, we did have an
When you're a
arcade
kid.
at the mall when I was a kid, but I mostly played skee ball. I wasn't
Right,
a
right. Okay,
big
that's what you
console
do.
or arcade
Mm.
machine.
Yeah, like I didn't have an arcade, but I did. There were a lot of restaurants we went to that would have arcade machines or like a claw machine or something. But there would be those are pretty common over here. Though they've gotten rid of a lot. But did you ever have any plug and play games growing up?
No, not really.
Where you,
Immediately, I got a console.
okay, because my dad gets me a lot of those just to play like Pac-Man, Dig Dug. Like that's how I play a lot of those games. Is like those plug and like they're not consoles. Like you just plug them into a TV and they've got like 5 or 10 games on them. And so that's how I play Pac-Man, Dig Dug. Like a lot of those classic stuff.
No,
They
see,
were very cheaply made
I
and
didn't
did not
have any of
last.
that. I get a 64, and it's from there.
Hmm. I like the stuff. It's just a bit contrived how we get here because we went from trying to figure out what Will's drawing to now. Oh, now we got to figure out because we got to save Hopper because he ran
I like,
off without telling us where he was going.
I like that Mike is working with Joyce. That's fun. We don't see that a lot.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And he's already as tall as her.
And then it's silly, but I do like the way they bring Bob in and get him involved. It's like this all could have been avoided if Hopper just told them where he was going.
Oh boy. Winona, you've gone full crazy.
This is a little easy, but it's fun. I just don't know if I buy anyone looking at those drawings of vines and figuring out, oh, it's a map. I don't care how smart you are. I don't know if I buy that he figures this out.
It's fine.
This is a funny scene.
He's a smart guy. Huh.
Huh. He's so great.
No, he just rolls with it. That's great.
And I like the way that he's like, "Do you understand how games work? Like, I need a set of guidelines. I need an objective beyond just like this is a well acted scene." Yeah, Joyce, you don't look well. But we talked about last season how instead of redeeming or making Steve a main character, they almost give that stuff to Lonnie
Mhm.
for X. Had they gone through with that, then I don't think we get Bob.
So this is why I'm fine with
I think
it.
we get a lot of Lonnie stuff.
He only puts it together because of the shape.
Mhm. I it's still a stretch for me, but it's not a big problem. Yeah, it's a fun sequence. But I just had this thought though, like, and again, I don't know how Steve would have fit into all this. I mean, if they did kill Steve in season one, that would have been a colossal error. That the
If
show
they
would have.
kill Steve at season one, I will go. I will go this far. I don't know if you agree with me. I don't think this show continues past maybe season two.
You might be right, and maybe it would have made it to three. But he is that like spark.
Because even people that don't like later seasons will agree Steve is great.
That's true. However, if I'm going to fight you a little, it is worth knowing that season one was a phenomenon and so huge. And in season, like, Steve is a very small part of that. He's like the ninth or 10th thing people like about that show. This season solidifies him as a fan favorite.
Right. But I
So
think if this season comes out and it's 90, let's say 80% this season, but without that Steve and Dustin, I think everybody remembers, well, that first season was great, but that second season wasn't so good.
Sure, but everyone who watches season one still watches it, which is why I think it at least gets to three. Because this still gets huge numbers regardless.
God, I don't even want to think what three would be without the Steve subplot.
Right? He's the best part. And then, but now just walking backwards, it's like, okay, so Lonnie is redeemed at the end of season one, and then they probably kill him off at the end of two. Like, so I bet a lot of the stuff they give Bob was probably what they were planning to give Lonnie after he was redeemed. And I'm personally fine with the way this worked out.
Yeah. No, I think that was for the best. Although I wish we didn't just forget that he exists.
Right. But it's not like it's not contrived. Like, he is a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
And it like makes sense that they want to contact him or be involved, but it would be nice to see him for like one episode in season 5. Just let's tie up all the loose ends. Whether he's still a piece of shit or becomes better, like, we could see him for an episode in season 5. I'd like to see them bring some old faces like that back, just for a little bit.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Regardless of your opinion, is it contrived that he goes to Steve of all people?
He's just all who's there. It's all he's got.
Yeah, but what
I
did
just need
you?
to watch it again.
Yeah.
I just need to watch it again to see how it plays out. Yeah, I mean, all of his friends are ghosting him, which is really sad. But we've also established where everyone
He
is.
gets that in this season and
Right.
next season.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Dustin and Steve truly are the only redeemable characters in the show.
I also, again, bringing back familiar faces. Let's bring them back for one episode in season 5. I do wish we
And then
didn't
they
just
just
forget
die.
that. I wish we didn't just forget that 11's aunt exists.
She's gonna make a name for herself.
Like, that should be a discussion, even though I like where season 3 leaves off. It's like, you know, Joyce, instead of taking 11 with you to California, like, she could have stayed in Hawkins and just lived with her aunt. Like, was this discussed? Was this an option? Like, 11 didn't have to leave Hawkins. I don't know. I wish that was brought up.
Because you have to make them like her and Will siblings, because everyone's personal life dictates their character's trajectory in the show. Yep. Oh, Millie Bobby Brown and Noah are best friends. Well, now in the show they're siblings.
But they don't even like get to do much with that though. They kind of just like, she's kind of a jerk to Will in season 4, and that really let me down because with all the horrible things that happened to Will and the stuff he went through, like, no two characters should be able to relate to each other more in this show than Will and 11, and we barely give them any screen time together. It's really weird. We never let them just talk about their horrible childhoods. Like,
no, and there is
really strong.
There's something there with not only, you know, they had difficult childhoods, but they both feel like freaks in their own respective way, with him struggling with his sexuality and her and her powers. But also, that's what also makes it weird, because they both have the same love interest.
And then they play it as, like, love triangle bullshit where, oh, he's jealous of 11, and, like, that stuff's annoying.
That's what I'm saying, is give him a different love interest. The show is not sophisticated enough to handle love triangles.
No, but like I buy. Like, I totally get what Will's going through with Mike, and I think that tracks with what we see. I just don't like the way it's executed. But again, like, there's some really good stuff in 3, like that big meltdown that Will has.
No, there's good stuff in 3.
Like, that's one of my favorites.
But I more so mean either in 3 or between seasons, he should have developed a new love interest, and like he's not sure about it and it's awkward.
But John, there are 200 characters in this show. You can't have another one. Let's be efficient.
That's fine. Ew.
You know, don't touch that. Why did you touch that? Also, 11's aunt has a really sad life. All she does is take care of her catatonic sister. That is her life. If she took 11 in, 11 could help out around the house. Just saying. This should have been discussed.
This is better detective work than anything else I've seen in this show so far.
And I think the problem for me is, though, I have seen this season at least 3 times, so now some of this stuff is starting to drag more for me, just because I've watched it so much.
I have that with season 1 sometimes, where I'm like, oh, can we
pick up the pace?
And well, again, and season 1 has that unfortunate, like, my favorite character isn't really my favorite character yet. None of the dynamics that I'm into in the show have formed.
Like I said, this again, there's some good stuff in this episode, but we haven't Most of the
There it
strong
is.
stuff is at the beginning and the end. Right. So okay, this how we get here is a little contrived, but it's fine.
But
It's like, of
but why
course, they
wouldn't he
bump into
just
each other.
run off and look for the kids at someone else's house?
It's because Steve's right there.
Your
Like,
line
that's
has
why.
been
Like, he
busy
doesn't.
for over 2 hours.
This is a great Dustin scene when he just swears at Mike's death. This scene is so funny. Karen, where's our son?
Ted gives so little of a fuck.
Son of a bitch, you're a real one big help. Also, remember, Dustin's this is really urgent. Like, he can go to Will's, but that's probably like a 15 or 20-minute bike ride or something, you know?
Yeah.
Steve's right here. So that's why he's like, hey, Steve, I got a monster you need to help me catch. Like, this isn't urgent. And he's older. With what specifically he's going through, it makes sense that he'd go, oh, hey, you're kind of an adult. This is perfect for you. This will be way better than my other tiny child friends.
I'm so glad Steve came to apologize, but like nobody was home for him to apologize to.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, you could have easily reframed this as just they're broken up, and Steve is thinking like, maybe I should go try to see what I can do, and then oh, whoops, there's Dustin.
Yeah, because I also
Hopper's
don't know that I buy that he would just give up that easily. Be like, yeah, I'll go help this kid that I don't know.
I think Dustin did say though that Nancy's not home.
Yeah, but like, he has a car. What? Why wouldn't he just go look for her?
This is pre-cell phones. Like, I don't think you just drive and look aimlessly for people.
But he knows her frequent haunts. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, this is fine. Again, Steve's in the loop. Like, he went through some stuff in season 1. Like, it's fine. Hopper fighting vines is pretty funny.
The only problem with this is it's really hard to see.
Yep.
The show has a huge lighting problem.
Mm-hmm.
No. Wait. I don't like where this is going, Robert.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, Hopper, you should have told someone where you were going.
Wait, you mean... Nah, never mind. That'd be too petty.
Jesus, Lucas, how long have you been talking to Max?
Well, no, I have serious questions about, like, time.
There are some timeline issues, yeah.
How long did he wait to go over to her house? How long have they been talking? I have questions.
Yeah. Do you need this meta joke when she says, "Oh, it's a little derivative in parts"? Like, that is them combating the criticism of season.
I never thought about it like that. Yeah, I don't need that.
Because that's exactly what it is.
Why do we have to justify it? We had an entire decade of sequels that was just the first movie again.
Mm-hmm.
The decade that this is homaging, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and we've talked about this before. The big criticism of the show, or why some people just can't get into it, is this is just an homage to things I love. I'd rather just watch the things I love than the thing that is, inspired by it. And my counter argument is just, well, the fun is just how it's a hodgepodge of all those things, right? It's a mishmash. Sometimes it's more derivative than it needs to be. Sometimes it's a bit repetitive, but and again, like, I like the characters. Like, that's why I keep coming back. I like Hopper.
I really wish
I like Steve. I like Dustin.
There was like a sign that she believed him, because she saw the Demogorgon thing. I don't need her to believe it 100%, but like, it shouldn't be 100% instantly. I don't believe you.
That's fair. We don't drag this on too long, at least. And it's like, seeing a weird frog creature is one thing, but having to believe that there's a girl with psychic powers and I think the framing of it, of Lucas being like, "Oh, I'm important. Like if I say this, like," but here it is. Like when he starts to freak out is when she's like, "Uh-oh, you're you might be telling the truth." Like you said, we don't drag this on for too long. But Billy's here to screw everything up. And Lucas, when a girl tells you to leave her alone and get the hell out of her way, don't follow her outside. this makes me very scared for Lucas. So he has a name now, huh? Damn it, Max.
I'm not sure what his problem is with Lucas.
I think it's just the racist undertones. It's that paired with like the over unhealthy protectiveness because he doesn't know how to go. Because obviously, a factor is it's his own childhood and what he went through, and it's his weird way of like, kind of protecting her, but he does it in a very toxic, aggressive way.
Yeah.
Again, we get a lot more context for him next season and at the end of this season. There's a scene with his dad that I really like when you see just how awful his dad is. Like, oh, okay, now he makes a little more sense. He's not just a cartoon.
I think you get that in this season. No, next season is his mom.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of wish they'd kept him on the main cast and maybe gotten rid of a couple other characters.
I think Billy's arc works and ends appropriately. At least he's a character we get 2 seasons with instead of 1 season dead. At least we got 2 seasons.
No, I mean I think it works, but like I wouldn't have minded him being the unwilling, like somehow he keeps getting thrown in and has to help them.
Mhm. But I do like the
Oh,
logistics
shut up,
of this.
Nancy.
But again, I like this pairing though with like the teenagers and a middle-aged guy, like because he knows if you just put anything out there, a lot of people are going to believe it, and a lot of people aren't. Like it's so much more complicated than just exposing the truth. It's like people are fickle, people are weird, people question things. You can't. And what he's saying is, well, if you just put this out there, they're easily going to bury it or come up with another narrative and wave it off. Like so what he's trying, but what the solution they come to is, well, you got to dilute it, you got to make the story less crazy, you got to make it palatable, and that stuff I really like. And again, I like I like the payoff.
I guess, but a good payoff on a faulty premise is still a faulty payoff.
But I like this exploration of like conspiracy theorists and journalists. Like this is kind of like we do like Lois Lane plots like this.
Okay, but Lois Lane doesn't disregard everyone that she cares about. She disregards her boss, but she would never treat Clark the way Nancy treats people.
She is a very reckless character.
What is he drinking?
Vodka. But again, what's funny is this dilemma reminds me a little of Watchmen, with the end of that book, where again, I'm not saying the show or follow-up comics have handled it well, but there is this really simple-minded view people have at the end of that book of, oh, either everyone believes Rorschach's journal or everyone doesn't. No, it's gonna be messy. Like, a lot of
So
people really simplify and don't think that far ahead about the potential ramifications of the ending of that book.
wait. So the solution is what I proposed at the beginning: is just make up something to tell them.
Right.
And she needed someone to point this out to her.
She's a teenager.
Okay,
But
but
again,
you act like she's much younger than the show is writing her as.
but like, okay, so if she lies to Barb's parents, what does she say? Oh, I know what happened to Barb. She drowned. Okay, where's the body? Can you prove that? Like, how is
Where's
she
the body
supposed?
here?
What are you talking? They'll explain it. They'll figure out the story. I just think you're saying like, oh, they should cover it up, which is what we end up doing and having a full story. I just think is a lot more complicated because what ends up happening is still incriminating the government, which is what Paul Reiser's people don't want because he works for the government.
Shut
Like I
the
said,
fuck up.
Shut up. I like the stuff with Eleven and her mom. I just wish we got more closure with this and not, oh, there's a sister I need to go find. But and like I said, this is just building on stuff from season one.
Yeah, this is fine. I just I don't find 11 very captivating. I I'm sorry, she's a plot device for 90% of the show.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I don't really care about her and Mike. But that might also be, and admittedly, with the kids, there is that barrier. I am in my 30s.
Mhm.
That hurt to say. Um,
And like I said, we're not in retcon territory yet. We're just fleshing out her backstory. That this was all set up in season one. We're just getting more of the details. Like this stuff's fine.
no, I don't think we get to retcon until 4, just because we have to make Vecna work.
Mm-hmm.
And the Duffers, you have to admit, are not the best writers.
Well, no.
Or the Duffer Bros.
Like I said, I like the show a lot. It is flawed. I like some seasons more than others, but when, as I was alluding to earlier, when people say like, "Oh, I don't care about this show because it's just homaging other stuff," and for me, it's like, well, I'm invested in most of these characters still. I'm invested in Hopper. I'm invested in Joyce. I'm invested in Steve. I'm invested in Dustin. Like the characters mostly are still good and likable and endearing, and that's the main thing that keeps me coming back. And then you just get a fun riff on all these because a big criticism of season 3 is, oh, it's just Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And I'm like, yeah, and we've remade that movie like 4 times. Why
It's
is it a
only bad when we
problem?
do it modern.
Right. It's but you see the point I'm making there. It's like, oh, like season 3 is just Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's lame. It's like, yeah, we've remade it like 4 times. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I have my frustrations just because I can't get behind CW level relationship writing.
mm-hmm.
And I think
and
Nancy, it makes Nancy look like an awful person.
and the relationship
But
drama is like some of my least favorite stuff on the
I
show.
like 2/3 of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a third and like the half.
Well, we haven't gotten to a lot of the really great stuff yet. It'll bump up for you when we're in the last couple episodes.
We may have to
But
do episode 6 because I need the Steve payoff. Damn it.
But what now? This stuff is really sad. And again, is like no. Matthew Modine's character is a monster. He fried her brain. And
Yeah.
again, this is the messy, complicated drama that works. Where she did go into a facility with a gun. She did shoot somebody, but she was trying to save her daughter. Like these are all understandable motivations, and that's how Matthew Modine's character tries to justify it later. Is like she was dangerous. She shot someone, and obviously he goes like in this situation, you lock her up. You don't fry her brain because you're trying to wipe her memory of this super shady thing you're doing. Like he is an evil character.
Ugh.
And I don't remember, was she saying like the sunflower rainbow, the mumbling? Was she doing that in season one, or was she purely catatonic? I don't remember.
She was purely catatonic because I think she only starts talking because she knows 11 is there.
Okay, that's a little easy, but I can roll.
Something in that show being easy? No.
Dude, that's a trope I don't love when a character just screams turn right and just it's like no, slow the car down, back up a couple feet, turn right. You don't need to plow through a pumpkin patch sign. This is reckless driving. And Bob is poor Bob. He is so confused. And now I'm just screaming at the TV like, Bob, get out of there. These people are crazy. This will not end well for you. Give up on I am telling this man to give up on this family because it's the right thing to do. It's not going to be worth it. Don't be a hero, Bob. Don't be a hero. He's also kind of excited. He doesn't know what's going on.
Shut up, Joyce. It's flashed on his eyes. I also wonder if that's a CGI flashlight because he didn't react.
That's a good question. I I could be wrong. The tunnels like that looks very day for night to me. Like we're in a really brightly lit area and then we're just dimming it in post. That's how it looks.
Maybe, but I just mean like she flashed that in his eye
Yeah.
and he didn't react.
Mm. Yeah, and again, if that's a well lit set, then like that's probably not a real. They probably just added that flashlight in post.
Hopper!
Sarah.
Sarah Harding.
How many Sarahs do you think are on this island?
2. The one at the beginning of the movie and the one about halfway through the movie.
Why are we the only people who quote that movie?
I don't know.
God damn. And yeah, this feels very alien. Like I said, this looks day for night to me. Like we just dimmed this in post and made it look super dark.
Probably. That's why the lighting is ass.
Okay, Bob, you did it. You saved a man. That's a great exchange. When Hopper's like, hey, Bob. Also, I like that there's not this stupid rivalry with Bob and Hopper. I'm really glad we don't do that. Because Hopper, like, he doesn't care about Bob, but he's not mean to him. He's just like, oh, that guy's kind of a nerd. You're dating him, Joyce? Okay, but Hopper's never mean about it. I appreciate that. This is messed up. Leave this kid alone.
Leave that child alone. I know you're not a Dragon Ball fan, but have you ever seen the Big Green Dub?
No.
Oh my god. Okay, when we're done, I'm going to send that to you. It is infamously bad. Well, that was episode 5.
Woo, that was Dig Dug. There's some good stuff.
That's alright.